Hi, this is Michael Vanderpool on May 26, 2025 to talk about MoonLight, the name of a tarot reader and truly gifted and talented psychic who, since I think it was as far back as maybe 8 years ago, I haven't come up with the exact number of years, but many times on Facebook, before 2020, but also leading up to 2020. MoonLight, this is the name she's chosen as a tarot reader and a psychic with many accurate predictions, had given me very many private and public both predictions. And I myself had studied tarot for and practiced with it for as far as the first 22 major arcana for at least 2 years back in 1999 in the year 2000, and as far as earlier in 1988 actually, but 2 full years on a daily practice working with the first 22 major arcana. But this is something I've done over many years in terms of the study and practice of the occult arts of various kinds. And so I had a familiarity with many different types of readings and readers over all these years since 1998 moving forward until, today is May 26, 2025. It's Memorial Day. And May 26, 2025, 5 years after 2020, right? So let's go back to that date where she had predicted, based on the astrology that I published on around the September 1st of 2000, I believe it was 2018 or so, on the country of Georgia. And it was a very serious reading about the period of time that was coming into what would later be known as the pandemic, where in a small country in the South Caucasus, every fourth or fifth business seemed to close. And they were about 2 to 3 months ahead of becoming aware and locking down of what was moving from the east to the west. So leading up to that, MoonLight had publicly said, because I asked about that space and time, like, what am I seeing here in this astrology? What is it on this small country that could be so devastating, so heartbreaking, harsh heartbreak? And she would say things like, well, there's going to be like a lot of planes are going to be grounded, and that turned out to be true. World travel flights, both domestically and internationally, were grounded. Entire, let's say, graveyards or airplane, commercial airline storage units were filled up. They were actually entire airlines that went under, and there were airlines that never recovered. So she also said she saw a lot of deaths, and that actually did occur from one reason or another. 2020, later that year, moving forward, I think there's some figures on how many have died officially, but I think there is a lot worldwide from that. So the things that she was seeing and publishing publicly on Facebook actually turned out to be exactly true. On a personal level, in private chats, she would tell me things that also proved to be true about a family member ended up in the hospital and went through a couple of surgeries, and she saw that clearly before it happened, in the time that it happened. And more recently, she had done 2 different tarot readings, paid tarot readings, where the things that came up on both the cards and her unique interpretation of those cards both have since come to pass on a couple of very important points. It's very useful, very helpful, and very powerful. The changes that on the advices that she gave. And she's not the only advisor that I had used in this scenario. There's one other who's got a very big track record of dealing with, you know, hundreds and hundreds of people, and is well known with psychic abilities. Their advice actually matched up, but her advice was very powerful and unique in the sense that it enabled some moves in a business sense that have since manifested, and was exactly the catalyst for being able to avoid some mistakes in that. And so it was really worth it. So I'm going to leave her link down in this YouTube video description. If this ends up on another video platform, that's fine too. You can look for a link or description to MoonLight and the readings that she offers. But some of the other predictions that I can talk about had to do with explaining things that are hidden. And it reminds me of, especially in dealing with very powerful organizations that have been around maybe not so many years, some for hundreds of years. And some of the positives and negatives of that at a very dangerous time, and some would consider place in terms of the profession that I was engaged in at that time daily. So it was very helpful, and one could say perhaps even life-saving on a very let's say occult level. It was also very interesting because I also have had precognition and foresight before things come out, and she would come on and confirm something that I had already prepared for in advance, having sensed it also before she was able to confirm some things that were taking place. So, you know, it's not just being impressed as an amateur or somebody that has very little experience with these things, but someone that's actually dealt with these arts since 1998, 1999, especially 1999, moving forward till today's date, May 26, 2025. And so whether you're new in seeking to experience this type of reading or this type of psychic ability from someone that has demonstrated it time and again, I can recommend MoonLight for that. So I hope you'll enjoy this little insight, and as I move away from this, I can say also, yes, about the war in Ukraine. I don't like to mention this topic in something like this because, you know, throughout history these things come and go. However painful and I would like to think unnecessary these things are, maybe, but in any case, from one point of view or another. But the fact is that I had put out an astrological heads up about that, and while she's not 100% correct, nobody is. I was right on the timing, but in fact that had to do with the country of Georgia, and down to the day accurate, because when Georgia went under their harsh heartbreak transit in MAGI astrology, then that's when Ukraine was massively attacked. And so it was within a 24 to 48 hour period. I published my prediction on the country of Georgia's harsh heartbreak, which was the beginning of that mass attack on the country of Ukraine in, I believe that was February or March of 2022. So that's a public documented astrology forecast I'd given on the country of Georgia, which, as I said, corresponded with the massive escalation attacks on Ukraine. Georgia being under partial military occupation by Russia gives you the very clear understanding of what I just said. So, but what Victoria had said in trying to read what that could be is actually, you know, the war and the fact that there would be foreign troops, including of one particular country she named, and that they would end up taking casualties there too with boots on the ground, let's say. And we know since then that there have been a lot of mercenaries and most likely other others there that have been involved in the fight that we'll probably never know about. Nonetheless, I should say these comments are just for fun, information, and entertainment purposes only. However, I'm being very serious and highly recommend MoonLight as a tarot reader, and I can testify to the fact that some of her actual psychic predictions, some published in public on Facebook back then, other predictions very private and personal and in chats or over the phone. So I can highly recommend MoonLight as a psychic and a tarot reader. Thanks for watching, and be sure to check out the link in this video on whatever video platform or hosting platform that you're seeing it for her contact information and how to book a reading with her. Thanks.